Improving traffic management for reducing fuel consumption. As you are aware that in 2022 we had the great lesson for having our economic crisis through this fuel crisis as a national crisis, and in 2026 we know that it is a global economic concern that we are again affected with the traffic and the transportation issues, as we can see. And as you are aware that Sri Lanka is a high dense populated country, and in urban context also we are having a large scale of traffic congestion all over the country in cities. When it consider this urban context, you know that basically our road spaces are occupied by 62% of the space by the private passenger vehicles, whereas the public transportation, that is buses and the paratransit, occupy less than 10% and having more than 50% of the transportation set up in urban context. If you take Parliament Road from say Diyatawina to Baseline Road, that is about 6 km road length, we know that there are 120,000 vehicles a day traveling in this road, numbers 220 buses traveling in this road corridor during peak hour. In this context, understand that to get more road capacity, we can propose something like 20% of the increase of this bus transportation in this road only. So that means for this 6 kilometers length, we can have something like 12 kilometers per hour as at now, and introducing hour that will increase the speed by double. So this will bring total travel time saving of another 15 minutes more, and the travel time savings that will bring us this mode shift. As a result of that, we will have around 650 liters of savings from this mode shift in this stage. That will estimated for a 1 year period something like 1 billion rupees savings in this stage. As you are aware that there are 5 such main corridors in Colombo. These corridors carries large number of traffic. If you estimated that with that number of 5 corridors for a length of 30 kilometers where we can find this traffic congestion, we will be able to save 40 to 50 billion rupees for a year. So that is a huge amount of money that we are investing for large traffic management schemes like flyovers, signalizations, and like that many other traffic management system in urban context. So is it sustainable? How about this transporting promotions with the public transportation like buses and the bus lanes and modern transport like BRTs? And we can go for those investment and investment diversion for this public transportation, having more spaces on the road where we can optimize with the more transportation capacities while minimizing the cost of fuel in that context, as I mentioned. So let's talk about the strategies, how to improve, how to focus, and how to support this system for public transportation to have more buses in the main roads. We can see that we have to show the public that what is the output, what is the strategies we have to use for this work. It is not just introducing buses, and we have to have a strategy to let the private transport modes users to transfer to the buses. So in that context, we have to market the KPIs, key performance indicators, that is like the high speeds. If you are traveling by buses, we have to prove that buses are faster and the other the modes are getting slower with the available road capacity. As you know that, as I mentioned earlier, this small number, that is 20% of the increase of the buses will have something like more than 1 lane capacity improvement that will increase the travel speeds, and at the same time we can introduce the high entry fees and the fuel fees fuel charges for the private vehicles, whereas introducing those revenue that you are earning from this fuel sales to the public transportation like buses and the paratransit, so that we can show that is sustainable for economy as well as we can make use of this opportunity to introduce and train the people in Sri Lanka for things like area license scheme and fuel charges and the vehicle charges and like that, and improve more public transportation, having the similar expectation that the vehicle users, private vehicle users are enjoying now. That is the air condition and the high speed and the safety, comfort, everything has to be there. And this has been practiced in our region countries like Singapore, Malaysia and the UK in 1990s, 1980s even. And this is the time for us to train our people, our perception, our users' perception to go for this. So we have to make sure that bus lanes are there and modernized bus transport like BRT systems are there. And again, the ICT, parking restrictions and high parking the fees in cities like that, this can be used to encourage this the public transportation orientation. And finally, I have to say that we are not discouraging for the ownership of the private vehicles, but we have to manage the demand side of the utilization. So that is through diversion of their travel to the cities through the public transport system, as well as through enforcement and having the high parking charges in cities like that, so we can discourage them to travel in basically the commuting time. So that is actually what we can do to reduce the fuel consumption in our transport system in urban countries. Thank you very much.